running out of ideas.
Hey there, fellow individuals. I want to make a little mini guide slash tips and tricks for how to use Mirage, his tactical, his ultimate, and the passive. Mostly going over the ultimate, but there are some cool tricks with the tactical and passive as well. I know it's not original to make an Apex tips video, but I just kind of wanted to show what I do, see if maybe other people use the same kind of tactics. So first off with the ultimate, so it sends out decoys. You get like a little second of cloak, then you get a circle of decoys. That'll follow your movement. They will have whatever you had in your hands when you activated the ultimate, but if you switch weapons, they will not switch with you, so keep that in mind. The recharge is really fast. It's tied with Octane's jump pad, I'm pretty sure, for fastest ultimate. So don't be afraid to use this. Whenever you get into a fight. Speaking of that, though, I want to talk about what situations should you use the decoy escape in. Obviously, it recharges really fast, so whenever you feel it's advantageous, you probably should use it. But the best situations to use it are one after you downed an enemy of a squad. You kill an enemy real fast, or not kill. You down an enemy and then you use the decoy escape, and now when their teammate comes in, they don't, they're walking in blind. They don't know which one it is. They have to just guess, and you can probably get like the first 5 hits on them for free, from an automatic gun. Another great time to use the decoy escape is when you're going in with your squad, or if there's a lot of enemies around. Basically, if the enemy that you're fighting or about to fight has, more than one enemy on their screen, then using the decoy escape is probably a good idea, because it'll make them, it can be a little rude to your teammates, but it can make them choose your teammates over you. If they have to choose between the bloodhound that it's a bloodhound, they know they're gonna hit him, and then a field of decoys, well, they're gonna choose who they know they're gonna hit. So it works great when you're next to your team, or if it's just a really chaotic firefight situation. So how I usually use the decoy escape is, you don't want to keep going in a straight line. You want to use it, do some quick turns, and then go off to a side or something. Just anything but your current direction. It's great for, it's also great if you're running away. You just use
How about this way?
You're running away, you use the decoy escape, and then you turn the direction, and now now you can fight back on the enemy even if you're at a little lower health than they are. So that's my main advice for using the ultimate, is always do something, like some turning, or maybe a crouch slide, but always some sort of quick turn, because if you keep going in the same direction, they're gonna know exactly who it is, and they're gonna be listening for the sound. Now the sound from the decoy escape, they recently updated it, but don't be fooled into thinking that it's some infallible, oh well, now there's just a horde of sound and you'll never guess who it is. No, they still know who it is. It'll just take a second, but that's the point. You have to, after you turn, after you think you fooled them, you know, do some quick turns. You have to aim out. Yeah, you gotta get on them pretty fast, or else they'll figure out who it is from the sound. Another key thing, last bit of advice about the ultimate.
Send in a decoy. Wait,
Let's say that's the enemy right there. You don't want to end wherever you end up on the ultimate after you do your turns and whatnot. You don't want to be directly facing them.
Decoy escape deployed.
You see, if you end up, even if you do a good decoy escape, if you end up like right there or there aiming at them, I mean, you're right in their line of sight. That's who they think it's gonna be. So whenever you end your decoy escape, you wanna go off on a direction where their direct line of sight is no longer on you, and preferably get a little closer to them, so that as soon as your gun comes up, you can start, you know, hip firing or do some quick massive shots. And yeah, I have these two weapons down here because I think these work particularly well with the decoy escape. Mastiff will let you get, you know, really close to the enemy, and then you just hit them. I mean, look at that damage in one shot. If the enemy's not on full health, you can, or even if they are, you can do a quick decoy escape, which will let you get closer to them, and then pop off like 1 or 2 massive shots, and I can down them. Another thing I want to show with the decoy escape on the zipline, because it's a rare situation, but it could get you killed. You don't want to use it going up a zipline.
Something good there. Bam to the woozle, sending out a decoy. It's dupes o'clock.
You see, if you use it in the air like that, like, see, like I was high up when I used it, but see, they all fell down in like one clump. That made it super obvious. I mean, no one's getting fooled by that. It's a clump of decoys. And you can't jump off of a zipline at a directly vertical angle. You know, you can't just look down and drop. So you want to use it like when you're really close to the ground, you know? Like right before you hit the ground, you use it, and then you turn away from the direction that you fell from, because that's obviously where they think you're coming from first.
Dupes to the rescue.
You know, so you turn backwards and maybe to a, you know, turn back to a side. So yeah, to summarize the advice of the ultimate, always turn, you know, in some fashion. You know, you have one little second of invisibility, but that's the most, I mean, that's the make or break of the whole ultimate. You know, you got to do something there. You know, do some turns. Don't end up looking at them, so that you can get a free shot on the enemy. Tactical. I want to go over a little bit of tactical tricks. So,
send it out another me.
You send it out.
He's good looking.
It'll follow your movement. It'll switch weapons with you. You know, crouch and stuff. And you can actually.
That's just a little something to remember me by.
You can release the control, and then you can regain it. Now on the surface, you know, that's it. I mean, that's what it does. But
sending out my decoy.
You can use the, you know, you can use the control, you know, the little control button on it, and that'll let you do a couple things. So you can have it running. Most people have it like this, just running in front of them, which isn't super bad, but it does get predictable. So you might want to put it to a side. Get on the left or right side. You know, that's a little more. You know, it's not like, oh, well, it's just in front of the real one. You know, if it's to a side and maybe even like behind you a little bit, then, you know, something like that is more likely to trick them. Or just put it behind you. People don't expect that. just put it behind you. Now let's say you're running. So yeah, always mix up how you use it. And then let's say you're running and you're getting shot at. You can release decoy control, quickly turn around, and then regain decoy control. You might want to put the decoy control on a good button that you can access easily. Because let's say the enemy is chasing you, like it's a bloodhound, but they're not in direct line of sight. So what you can do is quickly release a decoy, turn around, and then do that maneuver. And now they have to guess, you know, a 50-50 unless they hear which one it is, which is possible if you're moving around too much. You know, it has to be very quick. You know, after you do this,
send in a decoy.
I mean,
wait, how do I know that I'm not the decoy?
If they get fooled, they're not gonna be fooled for long. You know, you gotta use their, you know, just that second of indecision and, you know, shooting them. But also, that's why I'm stopping in these examples after I do that. I'm kind of stopping because I don't want to, if I, you know, in a real scenario, if I keep just moving around like that, they're gonna hear who it is. So if you're getting ready to do this around a corner, you know, try to put the decoy in the more, you know, surprising, obvious spot that they'll shoot at, and don't move around. You know, obviously aim and shoot at them, or, you know, be aiming ready to shoot, but, you know, don't just be moving around so much that you give away that it's you. Another tactical use that you can use, keep in mind, it doesn't interrupt you shooting. You can send it out while shooting, just like that, and then you can use it. It's not a shield because the bullets will go through it, but if you can get, you know, somewhat used to firing around / through your decoy, because well, you can fire completely through the decoy. See, you can kind of mess up your opponent's aim, not entirely. You know, they're not just gonna be like, oh, I've never seen this before, I'm gonna start firing into the abyss. But it's gonna be hard for them to headshot you.
Faking
like,
them out with a decoy.
Obviously, they know who the real one is. They know there's a decoy in front of here. But it's gonna be hard for them to shoot you and get headshots. Because you can do your crouching.
Go bamboozle.
No, you can do your crouching and your side to side. And then it can make it a little easier for you to, you know, hit the enemy without getting headshot. I like to use, so the last two things about the tactical, I like to use it to check if enemies are in a location. You know, because there's some common area, like you'll be going through Kings Canyon, and you want to check if someone's in bunker, right? And the decoys last a long time, so you can send, like, even if bunker's right there, and I'm this far away, I can send a decoy in to check if an enemy is there, and that's a good use. A bad use though is if you know where the enemy is, and then you do like you pull a bloodhound and you use your tactical, and then the sound gives away where you're coming from right before you get in on the enemies. That's no good. If you already know where the enemies are, you know, just come in, and then while you're shooting at them, maybe pop a decoy. But don't let it give you away. That wouldn't be good. That's what keeps me from playing Bloodhound, is that his tactical gives your position away. So lastly, the passive. Not too much to talk about. His passive has 3 parts. in all invisibility, invisible respawns, which rarely comes in handy. Invisible revives, which is quite useful, and then invisible knockdown, which is also rarely handy. The main thing about these, I mean, they're passives, so it's not like try and use them this certain way. But the main thing about them is that both of them make Mirage really good with the backpack and the knockdown shield. They're both much better on Mirage than I don't know, a character like Bloodhound. Sorry, I'm hating on Bloodhound. But you know, a character like Bloodhound, they're not gonna get as near as much use out of these that, you know, Mirage or Octane. I mean, it's just Mirage's passives complement these legendary items really well, especially the knockdown shield. If you have a Mirage on your team, maybe give it to him. If you think the enemy might have one, you know, it's late in the game, enemy Mirage, you think they might have that, you know, that's something you have to consider, you know, during like the final fights, because that could really, you know, that can really mess you up if, you know, you think they're down, you don't have time to go, you know, to chase the invisible Mirage, and then they get you with the, you know, with the resurrection shield, and then they've got the backpack, so they come up and then they've got like 100 health. So it's just something to keep in mind. Also keep in mind the passive, it makes you and the person you're reviving invisible. But
Bam! There goes a boozle.
The tactical Mirage
like
is completely visible when during the revive animation. So if you see a tactical Mirage, you know, if you see a Mirage reviving but he's not invisible, then he's not Mirage. It's a tactical. And if he's visible because he's getting hurt, then the revived, or the person getting revived, will also be visible. So it's very easy. You just have to know about it, but it's very easy to see and, you know, decipher. So if you're playing Mirage, release control before you go for a revive, so that you don't give away that you're reviving. If you're playing against Mirage, you know, when you see that,
send in a decoy. Wait,
when you see that tactical do the revive, then start listen for the revive and see if you can rush them down real fast. So that's my little Mirage guide. I hope it was somewhat helpful. Again, I know I know Apex guides are not very original, but I really like Mirage. I think he's one of the better characters in the game. So, you know, tell me how you use the decoy escape. Yeah, it's got a lot of personality, and yeah, I hope this helped to some degree.